I'm 661 days sober. In January 1st, I will be 2 years. So I'm just going to give you a little recap of my sobriety journey. Started because a lot of people around me were sober, in like my family, and if they weren't, I saw a lot of like addict tendencies in them. Luckily I had people and some really good friends who were sober. My aunt and uncle, especially Easton and Lindsay, they were big parts of it, because I'd see them, 10 plus years sober, and I was like, you guys are gangsters and you don't even drink. I was like, you're the best version of yourself, seemingly, or going that way, and you don't even drink. When for me, I really felt like I was a bit of a boss, a bit of a don when I was boozing. Like, you give me a few beers and I'm fucking taking over the world. Like, I don't give a fuck. Whereas to have that sober is completely different. Some people have got it, some people don't. But I actually think everyone's an addict. They say you have addict tendencies. I think everyone's an addict, because otherwise people wouldn't do it. Like with alcohol, really, it's a great way to mask everything. It's like the perfect cape. It's like an invisibility cloak, and it just gives you all of this free reign to do whatever you want and have a great excuse for it. So there's zero accountability with alcohol. A lot of people are victims of pub talk. I was definitely one of those. You become a weekend millionaire, and then when you're at an afters or when you're on a night out, you're just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I've been investing in this. It's all cap. And that was like the most annoying thing for me, really, was just like saying I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then the next week I'm in the same fucking kitchen, racking up cat, putting a plate in the microwave, and just chatting breeze until fucking the cows come home. Looking outside, hearing the birds tweeting, twerping, and just going, nice, my life is way better than this, or it should be way better than this. But English culture, Australian culture, European culture, I guess, every culture is to get blotto drunk as soon as possible. Doesn't make sense, but I guess that's why we do either live in a simulation or the Matrix is real, because why else would you almost force feed this drug that is like ridiculously bad for you? Like, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so throughout the years, obviously knew that aunt and uncle were sober. They did the NA groups, the fellowship. One of my other uncles had an issue with weed. Like, I could definitely see it around me. I'd meet a few people who didn't drink or ex-addicts, and I was like, oh, you guys are always pretty cool. And then at one point I was like, cool, I need to stop drinking. I'm not making enough of my life. I don't have enough money. I'm not working hard enough. My integrity is low. My actual accountability for what I'm doing is nowhere to be seen. So then I was like, I'm going to quit. Easier said than done. And I guarantee you this, the easiest way to quit alcohol is to have no mates. Because as great as they are, they'll hold you back. Because they won't understand. Unless they're already in recovery, they won't understand, because either they won't accept it that they also have an issue, or they could be doing better, let's say, rather than an issue, or they don't have the personality type where they think that alcohol is holding them back. I know loads of people that operate highly hungover, that operate highly still a bit pissed, that just like can get through shit. Whereas for me, as strong as my mental strength is, and my and my resilience to stuff is, my brain is like, it's waiting for a chink in the armor. And for me, where alcohol is that easy chink in the armor, the floodgates go in. It's a Trojan horse, it's like, as soon as that Trojan horse comes in, all the soldiers come out, and then bam, I'm done. So yeah, for me it takes a lot to work on the mind to actually get it to a point where it's that resilient, and alcohol just wasn't doing it for me. My hangovers were becoming like, when I was younger, nothing. Wouldn't even matter. Everyone tells the same story, I'm not going to go into it, but they were nothing. Then they were getting into positions of like depression, where I'd be spending a couple of days in bed hungover, then I wouldn't move, then I'd feel like shit, then I'd eat shit, then I'd look like shit, and then my brain was just mush. I still have it now. If I don't do stuff for a couple of days, my brain is screaming, and it's either going lazy or active. And the lazier I stay, the lazier I get. The more active I get, the more active I go. So, as a whole with that, I was just noticing these patterns. I'm like, everyone who I meet who doesn't drink is either doing bits or their stock is rising. And what I mean by stock is rising is like, They might not be, you know, top of the FTSE 500 yet, but they're definitely on their way, and they have a path and they have a roadmap. So they're either doing bits if they're sober, or they're on the way to doing bits. They also get up early and they do a lot with their life. They seem to be doing all the fun shit that I used to enjoy that I don't do anymore. This is another big thing for me, is like, I'm a active guy by trade. I've always been into sports, always been into water sports, extreme sports, anything. I've always loved it because I've always just naturally had a gift of being good at sports. Then, as I get older and I start drinking, I stop wakeboarding, I stop mono skiing, I stop diving, I stop free diving, I stop surfing, I stop all of this stuff because I'm hungover, or because it's not a priority anymore, because I want to go get pissed and I want to go split the G, and split AG. Anyways, so yeah, that was another thing. So it was like, it was affecting what I actually thought was my character, which, you know, I'm still struggling to get back to now, is to do all this fun stuff that I actually enjoy, that I want to be doing. Not that I'm drinking, it's just that trying to prioritize it is tough. It's another story for another day. So yeah, going back to the bit about friends, like, they'll hold you back. No doubt in my mind. Happened to me. They're still my good mates now, and most of them don't even drink now. But at the time, I remember thinking, I'm pretty sure I told them, I was like, if you're going to come up with me, then sweet. But don't hold me back just because you don't want to fucking stop drinking. I'm trying to better my life and get through with it and get past this hurdle. And, you know, some people, I don't know if they're jealous or if they're just annoyed that they're not doing it themselves, or they're a bit of like, no, like they don't want you to leave that space. They don't want to see you level up, but it happens. And luckily, like, my mates who didn't understand, they do understand now, and they're either on the set, they're all doing better than me anyway. So the juice wasn't actually worth the squeeze in terms of like what happens when you stop drinking compared to the people who still did. But that's just my journey, and I'm not in a rush and I'm not in a race, especially with my mates. I want them all to do well anyway. But just be careful that you're gonna have to say no 100,000 times. I got no in Greek tattooed on my wrist because I was like, anything that comes up, no. Is it your birthday? Don't care. Oh, you're going out? Don't care. Oh, you want to go have a few pints to do this? Don't care. Cinema? No. And you're gonna have to say no to everything, because one small crack in the nose and you say yes, you end up in an environment where you feel pressured, and then boom, you're back in it again. Happened to me twice, and it wasn't anyone's fault bar my own, but I'm just telling you that's how it happens. So first time I stopped, I remember it was Westy's birthday. He was fuming. Also Pat said they share the same birthday. Don't know if you can hear this noise, but sorry about that. But then after that, I was like, cool, I'm on my path, I'm making good money, I'm doing my thing. 6 months later, boom, had saved an extra 10k. Then I went to Bali. Then when I went to Bali, started drinking again. Wasn't that deep because I didn't think I really had a problem. I just thought, everyone I meet who's sober does bits, so let's just cut the alcohol for a bit and let's go for it. Get to Bali, have a great time, meet loads of people, boom. Run out of money, come back to England. I'm like, well, that worked really well last time. Let's repeat the process. Again, it wasn't that deep. I wasn't like, I'm sober, I'm part of the fellowship. It was more like, I just want to quit drinking because I want more for my life and I want more money. Then I go back to England, save 15k this time, and I go to Mexico. Mexico was great. But I have loads of little triggers like everyone else, and my trigger ended up being, if business didn't go as well as I planned, if everything that I sort of wanted and hoped for didn't actually go the way I wanted it to. I'm just repeating myself, but you know what I mean. And that for me was like a bit of an emotional low where I'd be like, fuck this. I was still smoking ciggies at the time, so that was also a little bit of a crutch to help me stop drinking, but you need to have a little vice here and there. Luckily, one of my business partners, he didn't drink, so it was good to be around him. But when I left that business, I kind of, not tailed off, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. Still young, doesn't really matter. My mate Dom came out, we went on like a 36-hour coke bender into Loma Afterlife. And then after he went home, I was pretty depressed anyway, because business wasn't going that well. Then I stopped because business wasn't going that well. I didn't have much money because I didn't have much money. I didn't go to the gym. So I didn't go to the gym. I stayed in bed. Because I stayed in bed, got depressed. Like, it's an easy formula. Like, 1 + 1 is fucking 2. And if you're not doing stuff you want to do, and you're not making money, and you're not getting after it, and you're not in the gym, you're going to fall into this sadness spiral. Anyway, blah, 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 boo-hoo, here's my fucking violin. So then I needed a change. So I went back home again, and I was like, cool. I'm done with this flip-flopping, flap-flopping sort of scenario. I'm going to stay in England until I have an online business so I can go anywhere I want. Don't have to worry too much about money and I can just live my life. Again, when I came back, my plan was to go sober, but I just got home and I was like needing a bit of a release. So another 6 months, carried on drinking again. Then, long story short, it got to New Year. I was not drinking. I bought like loads of 0%, but then when I got there, all of my mates basically dressed up as me. They had cards out, we played shithead, they all invested, they the Stellars. Long story short, it was New Year's. I was like, you know what, this is a good time. This will be my last time that I'll drink and we'll just fucking have it off. Bop. We had it off, 9 a.m, still doing coke, ordering more bags, the classic. And then from there, I was like, okay, cool. This is where my life needs to change. I don't have anything to really, in my mind, show for my drinking career. The whole 10,000 hours thing, or 10 years until you become a professional or something, or a master or something, really resonates because I'm like, I've been drinking for 10 years properly. And I'm not talking like a few at the weekend. In Greece, we drank most evenings. We'd go hard, we'd drink 2 bottles of wine. In France, we'd drink every day. I'd wake up to a fucking Guinness. Then Mexico, when I was working on a yacht before that, drinking, doing loads of coke because you've got loads of money. Mexico, you work in a huge sales environment. You're straight into the coke, you're straight into the drink. Like, it's just this endless cycle of bullshit. So what's happened since I've stopped drinking, since it's been 661 days, I've got no more money. Like, I'm not going to be on it, I'm not going to lie to you, but I've taken a lot more risks. I've become a lot more mindful, a lot more aware. I would say my relationships are better. I set boundaries with fucking pretty much everyone and anyone. My integrity is at an all-time high. I literally, if I say something, I do it, and there was nothing that I don't say that I can't back up. I'm reliable as fuck, and I just get shit done. Obviously, that doesn't always translate into making loads of cash, but I know deep down that my stock is rising. I know that I don't have this crutch, I don't have this bullshit, I can hold my head up high, I can walk into anywhere and be like, you know what, I fucking back myself because I'm becoming the person that I want to be without the alcohol. And that's the main thing that I wanted to be, is like, I've got this persona and this ego of Connor Weston who fucking walks into anywhere and thinks he owns his joint, but really, he's full of insecurities, doesn't fucking have that much cash, and really he's just a great actor, because, or not even a great actor, but he just embodies this person that he wants to be, only when he's really drunk. Obviously during the day, like normally, I'm still about it, still quite fun and, you know, a character, let's say, but it ain't sustainable to just be drinking to be this character. So now, after the years, after 6 months, I'd say is the hardest. The first 6 months is the hardest, because you've got all this temptation, you've got all this these tendencies that you're like falling back into. It's easy to slip, there's these triggers, something goes wrong, something goes bad, you know, your girlfriend splits up with you, you lose your phone, whatever it is, you're like, cool, I'll go back to the safety net. That's why when I had the safety net, I usually go back to smoking. So it'd be like alcohol, number 1 priority to stop, cigarettes number 2. So if something bad happened, I could just lie on the cigarettes, and you know, that's obviously not great. But for me, it definitely helped, because then I was like, you know what? I can have this fuck it mentality where I'm like, if it didn't go that well, I smoke a dart. Tried to stop that as well, and we're currently a month in, no cigarettes, so I feel good. But in terms of when you're stopping alcohol, after the first 6 months, it definitely gets easier, because people know that you're fucking serious. You know that you're fucking serious. You've been through a lot of the situations where you had to say no. You can, especially if you're in the UK, you can get 0% everything now. And also, after the 6 months, it's like, I've got this far, what do I do? Do I stop now and do I cash in my chips, or do I think, actually, no, this is the path that I want to take? It's definitely good to reflect around the 6 month period and think what you've got from it, where have you come from, where do you want to go, and has it been beneficial? I'm not going to say that everyone it's going to be beneficial, because that would be capped, because it could be beneficial for people to drink. Some people are better operators. I'm not. I want more from my life. I want to wake up early. I want to go to bed up. I want to go to bed early, and I want to actually like enjoy the fruits of what the world has to offer. Anyways, other things that I've noticed throughout this period is that you still get low, you still feel emotions. You don't come completely emotionless, but you do definitely have more of a managed emotion. There's no high highs and there's no low lows. Don't know if you know what like a spring tide is, But spring tide is when you have high highs and low lows. So that was always me, high highs and low lows. Whereas now I'm more like a neap tide, which is low highs and high lows. So you're more like mediated, you're more in the middle. I'm pretty sure I've got those definitions right. Whereas springs, you're like this, bomb, 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 which isn't sustainable. I'm trying to do stuff that has legs with. I'm trying to go with the longevity play. And if you're going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, what is it? Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If you're going super high on a fucking 3-day coke bender, you're going super low on a 3-week stint of depression. That's how I see it. Whereas now my energy levels are more even, my emotions are way more even. I see stuff really clearly. I can look ahead, and I guarantee you, most of it depends what you want from your life. I'm not fully sure what I want to be, but I definitely want to have a bit of influence, a bit of cash, and really I just want the freedom to live my life on my terms, so that if I ever have a family, I can afford to cover the costs of having a family and not have to think. So in that respect, if you were to get someone who would fit that criteria, let's just say an entrepreneur or a fairly well-established business person, I can guarantee you they probably don't drink. Maybe they have the occasional tipple, but they're not going to be hitting Friday, Saturday night, thirsty Thursdays, thirsty Tuesdays, wet Wednesdays, malnourished Mondays. They're not going to be doing this fucking bullshit juvenile stuff. What they're going to be doing is working, chilling, gymming, family time. I don't have a family to do that with. I obviously have a family, but they're in the UK and I don't really chill with them too much. But as a whole, it's now what do I have time for? I don't go out. Well, if I do go out, I go for a couple hours to socialise, which realistically half the time I don't even want to do because everyone's pissed and they're getting on bag. Or when I get there, I'm like, I remember that this is the reason I didn't go out. But if I do go out, a little bit of social, a little bit of food, but then it's back to bed. Whether I watch some TV, doesn't matter. Whether I go to the gym, doesn't matter. Whether I go do some more work, doesn't matter. As long as I'm doing something semi-constructive, whether it's educational, whether it's a bit of entertainment, but I'm filling up my cup as opposed to filling up everyone else's cup by chatting bullshit and breeze. I don't really want to go on too much longer with this because realistically at the end of the day everyone's on their own journey, on their own path. It's hard for you to force someone to do this. When you're tired of your own shit is when you'll get real growth and real change. So if you are tired of drinking, feel free to reach out to me. I'm working with a sobriety coach at the moment. He has a great course. And to be honest, I think it's just the way that the modern man should be. Women, I'm not a woman, I'm not going to comment on that, but I am a bloke. So I would say, if you are a bloke, there is no downside to stopping alcohol. It kind of feels like it fast tracks you to a few things. Maybe you don't meet as many influential people. Maybe you don't meet as many good connections on nights out. Maybe you don't meet as many, it doesn't fucking matter. You can paint your own narrative that you want to, but as a whole, for me, I have a better life. I know what I am. I know who I am. I know who I want to be. And I know what I'm doing. I make less mistakes. There's literally a, touch wood, 0% chance I'm going to do anything dumb. I'm not going to fucking kill someone in a car accident because I'm drunk driving. I'm not going to, fall off a moped because I'm drunk. I'm not going to get in a fight and punch someone or get punched because I'm on a night out and I'm feeling lariat. I'm not going to do any of this dumb shit. If I have a relationship with a bird, I'm not going to say anything that's ridiculously out of hand because I'm fucking under the influence. None of that shit really happens. Obviously you still have mistakes and you make your own little misdemeanors, but as a whole they're all a bit more calculated, they're a bit more honest, and for me the only things I really care about are honesty, integrity, and just trying to level up. So that's about it for me. With these videos, what I would like to do is have a bit more structure with them, because what I didn't go through is the triggers that led me to stop drinking, because there's so many, but I can save that for another video. But for now, 20 minutes of me rambling about stopping drinking should be enough. If you want to reach out, more than happy to help people. I like sort of sponsoring people per se. I don't really buy, I've been to a couple of AA and NA meetings, but I'm not really into the full fellowship style, because I'm you know what, I just want to do it for myself and do it on my own. If I meet people along the way that don't drink, perfect. I meet people along the way who have got sober, perfect. But I'm not really into this meeting thing. I've got enough other stuff to do. To be honest, that might change as I get older and I hit higher limits of sobriety. But right now, I just want to do it for me and a few select individuals. So if you are wanting to push it, message me. If not, don't worry. And this channel isn't going to be like Mr. Sobriety. I'm just going to drop little impromptu videos like this in because I want it to be more about water sports, travel, lifestyle, that sort of thing. But then a bit of business and a bit of wisdom and a bit of sobriety thrown in for good measure, because I think, you know, when I think what do I have to offer the world, I have a lot of experiences and I have a lot of a well thought out point of view. And to be honest, I have a brain that needs to talk, and not necessarily mean that I want to talk to loads of people, because I find that not very valuable in big groups. But I would like to do some big talks in terms of like TED Talk, big speak. Public speaking is one of my favorite things. So again, with the sobriety, I know that if anyone's going to book me to do anything like that, I'm just more reliable because I don't drink. Anyway, now I'm really getting to the end of it. Love you, miss you, kiss you. Have a great day. Be the change I want to see in the world. Thank you very much. Much love.